Hi YouTube, this is Raven. I'm a survivor of a 16-year marriage to a covert narcissist, or someone with borderline personality disorder. I'm not sure which one he had. He had traits of both, but either way, he was toxic, our marriage was toxic. It was a whole toxic situation. So I did a series of videos called Narcissists Are Ridiculous. I did it when I first started this channel, and it's just a comedy series about just the ridiculous things that they do because they're just not self-aware. They don't understand how they're perceived by others. And I thought that I didn't have any more material left because I'm not around, my ex, which I affectionately call douchebag. I'm not around douchebag anymore, and I'm not around my in-laws. My toxic in-laws were also the subjects of those videos. But as of late, my ex has been doing some douchey things again. For the last couple years, he's been kind of a decent person, or at least halfway decent, and now all of a sudden he started doing douchey things again. So I'm game on. We're going to do another video. I may cough or I have to clear my voice during the video. I just got over the big C. I'm not going to tell you what the big C is. You know what the big C is. I know what the big C is. I just don't want this video to get flagged for saying its name. But I just got over that, so I've got my coffee here. I'm going to sip on my coffee while I do this video. But the thing about narcissists is that, they're not self-aware, but they're also, they can't ever be outdone. There are some narcissists that if you buy a new house, they've got to buy a new house. I mean, I'm sitting in my new house right now, and I keep thinking that at some point, douchebag's going to call me up and say, here's my new address to my new house. Yeah. Because he just cannot be outdone by me. And a perfect example of him not being able to be outdone was when I took the kids to Yosemite. Now, during the pandemic, I was in quarantine for 26 days out of 30 days for the Army. Now, if you've been in government work or you've been in the Army long enough, you know that the government knows how to handle a crisis. They are top notch. I mean, they can come up with a solution real fast, and it's always the best solution. It's, the most well thought out. Yeah. Obviously, I'm being facetious. And the Army's solution to me having to be quarantined was that I had to go away for 30 days for officer training. I transitioned from enlisted to being officer. And so I had to have this 30 days of training. But we were the first class to go through it since the pandemic had hit. And so the Army didn't know what to do. So they just decided to have 300 of us go all the way out to Oklahoma to be quarantined for 26 days out of the 30 days that we had training. It was crazy. And so I was in a room that was not much bigger than this kitchen with two other girls, and on our laptops all day long, learning the stuff we were supposed to be learning outside of the room, but we couldn't do that. So they would only let us out like 1 hour a day. And that was, so you could walk around and see sunlight, daylight. We were so bored that there was at one point a bird landed on the lawn outside the window, and I was like, guys, there's a bird out there. Like, oh, something different. And so all three of us are like watching this bird, like, what is he doing? What is he? Wait. Look, he's got a stick. Okay, wait, shh. Okay, he's got a stick. Wait, what's he gonna do with the stick? Oh, no, he flew away. No, come back. I think that I remember thinking, this is what my cat feels like. My cat sits, and watches the window all day long. It's like, if I could get out of here, I'd murder every last one of you. Yeah. So it felt like I was in prison. So of course, being trapped for 26 days in this place, I decided that I was going to take the kids someplace nice. I wanted to go someplace, get out in nature. And so we decided to go to Yosemite. And if you've never been to Yosemite, put it on your bucket list. Go. It is gorgeous. It's beautiful. So it was a vacation that I will treasure the memories of that vacation the rest of my life. I've actually managed to find a vacation spot that got kids off of their phones, because anywhere you take kids, they're like, yeah. We went to Yosemite, and as soon as we got to Glacier Point, my son was like, oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. He's taking dozens of pictures, and we went to see the redwoods, the sequoias in Mariposa Grove, and my daughter's like, holy shit. It's like, how big are these trees? So it was a great vacation. It was wonderful. So they just would not shut up about it. And they were constantly talking to my ex, I guess, about how great the vacation was. So they just would not shut up about it. So finally he decided he could not be outdone. He had to take the kids somewhere. So he said, I'm taking the children on a surprise vacation after Christmas. I'm like, surprise vacation? Where are you going? Where are you going? And it's a surprise for the children. They will need some good clothes. I'm like, what good clothes? What? This is the way he talks. He talks like he's like British or something, and he's from the South. But I said, what kind of clothes are they going to need? Are they going to need boots, snow boots, and jackets and coats, or are they going to need swimsuits? What do they need to pack, or what do I need to pack? And he finally said, a little bit of everything, but they will need good clothes. Do they have good clothes? And I was like, what kind of clothes? Well, like, we'll be going out to a reception while we're there, a fancy dinner party. I'm like, okay, well, they have clothes left over from the wedding, the wedding from hell, which I will make a video about in the Narcissists Are Ridiculous series. I'll make a video about that one next, where my brother married that horrible woman. I don't even call her my sister-in-law. She's just that horrible woman. I've made videos about her as well. So, they had clothes left over from the wedding. So I said, that they can take those. Oh, yes, good. Clothes for a wedding will be appropriate. Well, the surprise was that they were going to Utah. Okay, somehow Utah is going to compare to Yosemite. Whatever. So he takes them to Utah, and apparently, they got married in Utah in a restaurant next to a golf course. Sorry, my cat is playing with something and making a whole lot of noise. So they got married, and it was a surprise wedding, and the kids were like, oh, okay, Dad's getting married again, no big deal. Well, our anniversary was December 27th, 1997. What day after Christmas do you think that he got married on? Think about it. Oh my God. He got married on the same day. Like what like December 27th, like is that day just, it stands out in your mind? Did he decide to get married on our wedding day, to get remarried on our wedding day because it was easy for him to remember? I don't know. It's mind-boggling to me, because if I were to get married and I let my new husband pick the wedding date, and then I was to find out later that was his old anniversary. That would not be good. It would not be good for him. Or our new marriage. So they got married, and of course, Jasper. So you're done playing with stuff, now you want to sit here. All right. So the next day, they went to the premier honeymoon spot. Apparently, this is the #1 honeymoon spot in North America. And I never would have guessed it, but they went to of all places, on their honeymoon, Death Valley. If that's not a harbinger of things to come in that marriage, I don't know what is. I would be asking, like, are you trying to send me a message? What's going on here? But yeah, they went to Death Valley, and they packed up all their stuff and they drove to Death Valley. And they're sleeping in one room. He's sleeping in one room with our kids, and she's sleeping in a separate room with her kid and another kid that's come along on the trip, that's the boyfriend of her daughter. Like, it was bizarre. It's like, this is your honeymoon. And she had always talked over the years in front of the kids. She would say, oh, when we get married, we should go to Barbados. We should get married on the beach in Barbados, or go to the Caribbean and take a cruise. And now she's getting married in Utah and going to Death Valley on the honeymoon. So this was during the pandemic, so a lot of rest stops were shut down. And Douche, he likes to eat. He loves to eat. And sometimes he eats the wrong things and it upsets his stomach. And this was just like any other day. They drive to Death Valley and they have to stop at a rest stop really quick because he's got to go. And he went into a porta-john because during the pandemic, a lot of rest stops, especially in our state, were shut down, and they put porta-johns outside the rest stop. You couldn't go into the rest area, but you could go to the porta-johns, because somehow a porta-john, you're not going to get the big C if you use a porta-john instead of a regular toilet. I don't know. It's the government. So, the government in its infinite wisdom. So he goes and he tears this porta-john up. The kids told me this story later. He tore that porta-john up. He went in there and it was explosive. It was like somebody let out a bomb. Just, somebody let off a shit bomb. So he, does his business, and then he looks around. Guess what's not in the porta-john? Toilet paper. Now, you remember during the pandemic, toilet paper was at a premium. And some places you couldn't even find it. People were hoarding the stuff like it was gold. But, so he's looking for, this toilet paper, and there's none. And, when I have to do my business, I look, I prepare. Being in the Army has made it to where I can take a dump anywhere. Anywhere, like snake-infested woods, no problem. Behind a pine tree, in the desert, whatever. The military prepared me for this. I've been prepared for this. He's not been in the military, so he just can't. I guess he doesn't think on his feet. So I would have to make a decision at this point. So there's no toilet paper. Am I wearing socks? I will not be wearing socks when I leave this porta-john. Or, if I'm not wearing socks, do I like this pair of underwear? I can go commando. The military has helped me go commando. I'll be good. So, I'm not gonna have those articles of clothing when I leave the porta-john. So he could have done those things. There was no running water. You know, he screams outside the porta-john like, there's no toilet paper. Well, apparently there was no toilet paper anywhere in any of the porta-johns. So he makes a decision. And, you know, I have to think that my children share half of this man's genetics. And that's on me. I mean, that's on me for choosing to procreate with this man. So he does the one thing that I guess he feels that he can do to fix the problem. So he wipes this diarrhea, just wipes it with his hands. Now, I've had to change lots of diapers in the ER. You know, we change lots of diapers from people from nursing homes, and sometimes they finger paint with the poop, you know, because they're confused. They get down, they're digging in there, and they ugh. And I've had an old lady one time when I was changing her diaper, and she reaches her hand up to, you know, to pat my face like, thank you, honey. And I see it coming. I see it coming. And all of a sudden I'm like Neo in the Matrix, like trying to avoid the hand, you know. And, so I can only imagine his new bride seeing him coming out of the porta-john with poop-pourri hands, you know, coming towards her. And the kids said that she was livid. I mean, she was livid, just like, what the hell were you thinking? Like, you know. And it's like, I wanted to say, like, honey, I can tell you what he was thinking. He wasn't thinking at all. I was married to him for 16 years. Trust me, he doesn't think. So, anyways, so he gets in the car and he takes 2 pairs of gloves, because everybody had gloves back then. You couldn't find toilet paper, but you could find gloves. And he puts these rubber gloves on his hands, and then he insists on driving. So he drives in the desert with these poop-covered, shit-stained hands, covered in gloves, to the next rest stop that's about 40 miles away. And apparently the whole time he's driving, she has given him the business. It's just like, oh my God. And the kids are like, ugh, what smells? What smells? Be quiet, quiet. Dad, why does it smell in here? Why are you wearing gloves? Be quiet. None of your business. None of your business. So they get to the next rest stop, and he you know, takes the gloves off. He runs in, and this rest stop's open, and he can wash his hands. He's washing his hands. The kids said he was in there for about 15 minutes. He comes back out, and he opens the car to get something. And remember, they have their suitcases with them. And he pulls out this gigantic box, or, you know, container of baby wipes. They had them the whole time. And I remember thinking, got married her in Utah, married her on the same day, and then proceeds to go to Death Valley with shit-covered hands. And I'm thinking, I wasn't the problem. I was not the problem in our marriage. I was not the problem. And I'm thinking, if you were married to a narcissist, you were not the problem either. So, anyways, that's all for now. I'll try and do another video of the new house when I get a chance, and once it's clean. Right now I don't want to show how messed up it is right now. But I will do a video showing the new house. I'll do another video in the Narcissists Are Ridiculous series on the wedding from hell, because there was all kinds of shenanigans that went on when my brother married that toxic woman. To include bears. Like, why not? Why, you know, of course there are going to be bears at the wedding. But I'll do a video. If you like like my videos, please leave a comment, click the bell to be notified, subscribe, click thumbs up, thumbs down. Let me know what you think. And that's all for now. Take care.